everybody doing?
Absolutely peachy.
Doing okay.
Hell yeah. So, it's been a bit. Last time you guys played, we had a funny little trip to the circus,
Uh-huh.
and through a horrific accident, you guys stabbed a clown to death. In fact, one of you threw an antimatter spear through his chest, which is a little overkill for a clown, but
It's pretty neat, though.
It fell down a bag
pretty
of clouds.
neat. And now you have a know when you go to the theme park roller coasters and they have those like memorabilia photos. Now you have like a little memorabilia banner of that time you threw a spear through a clown.
I'll take it.
But you guys managed to survive your first battle with a god, and though he was a little bit cheeky about it, he did give you a item that he had retrieved from Ethos that led you to a part of Cornelius's domain that he was previously unaware of. All of the books within that library are blank, except for the one that Lana was able to uncover, which they've been looking through, and which a few people poked at during the downtime, but we can go over that a bit once we resume the session. And in the meantime, the members of COS have gone about trying to decrypt the contents of the library. So, based on the information provided by the gesture and the bundle of letters that was provided to Reese, you guys now have a date. 4 days from now, at roughly noon, the process will begin to rip the demon host from the point in the abyss where he is currently resting. And your plan, once you discuss the full details, will be to drop in on that party and make sure the deed gets done right. But until then, seeing as you only had a brief little sortie, you only need a few days to recover, so I will give you 3 days of downtime to prepare. Does anybody have anything specific in mind they would like to do in that downtime, either mechanically or RP-wise?
Was there something you wanted to ask Reese about, Lana?
Reese does want to have a conversation with the entire party at one point.
I didn't figure out how Lana would go about it. Yeah, she would just kind of go to Reese at some point and just kind of be like, "Hey there, Reese. I was hoping you could give me a hand with something. Kind of important given everything that's coming up."
What's up?
Can we just get Tomas and Reeves in the same room and get them to get over whatever the fuck they're going through before we go fight the demon host?
I'm not sure that's a good idea, but I do think the whole party should have a conversation, probably somewhere private.
We don't.
Maybe.
I don't think we need to bring everyone into it. I think it's just kind of specifically those two. I'd rather not make it like a whole entire group thing because it's kind of just airing more dirty laundry in front of everyone, which is just going to make things worse.
Are you sure they even want to talk it out, Lana?
We're about to go fight the demon host, Reese.
I know.
At this
and
point,
our party has never felt less like a party before.
I agree.
And it's not just them.
Is there something else I missed, or?
When was the last time we felt like a unified group?
I never felt like we were disunified, like...
Yeah, we feel like a group of people that are just kind of casually thrown together, Lana.
I mean, we were, but... Yeah,
but it hasn't changed. Don't you think we should maybe have a talk about that before we go into something that could kill us all?
Well, we kind of go into something that can kill us all every single week, but I mean, I
This
get
is
what you're
a bit
getting.
more intense.
Mm.
I mean, if you want, I can just snap my fingers and you can shove them into the mansion. I can make the door go away, but will that really make our problems go away, or will it just put them at each other's throats?
I mean, that's why I was asking for your help, because, you know, they're, you know, folks ain't gonna, like, if we just kind of, I don't know, like, we've gotten this far, we should have at least a little bit of faith in them to at least be willing to use words.
Yeah, well, people seem to think it was really funny that I couldn't talk last battle, so obviously we have more problems than that.
Oh, Reese, if you're actually upset about that, I'm sorry. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, I know you did.
I mean, I didn't realize it was affecting you, so I won't do that again. I mean, if that's got you tore up, then obviously I gotta, you know, not do that.
It's a little inconvenient not being able to communicate and also not cast magic in that form. But if that's what you want, I'll do it. I don't agree with it, but when has that ever been an issue?
Reese, when was the... Never mind. And she's just gonna kind of turn and flee. It's just like, this is a waste of time. We'll just have a big powwow, and we'll do it later.
Okay. So whenever people want to get together for that, they can have a conversation if they want to.
How are you gonna go about gathering people?
If Lana doesn't do anything in the next day or so, Reese will probably go individually and invite people into the mansion.
Just one by one inviting people for a fun little chat inside the mansion.
Yep.
All right. Are there anybody that objects to visiting, going to Reese's little mansion getaway?
It's not so much as an objection, but when Reese knocks on Reese's workshop, it is shortly before there's a huge explosion and the sound of something like continually bouncing off the walls and clattering into stuff. No, 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 get down! And he answers the door, and through the little gap, you can see a rocket boot just wreaking havoc inside of the workshop. Oh, hello. Um, uh, um, he just wiggles out and like closes the door with his back. Hi.
Hi. Hope I didn't come at a bad time. I'm trying to get everybody together to have a conversation before we face the demon host.
Yeah, that's probably an important thing to do. As he says, as the sound of like a bunch of glass shattering can be heard from the other side of the door. Right now?
As soon as possible.
Let's do it right now. I'll clean up later.
You sure?
Trust me, I don't want to go. I don't want to go back into there until it's done doing its thing.
All right.
And Reeves will follow. Will follow Reese.
Crash, crash.
Once everybody's together, Reese will spend 10 minutes casting the mansion. You're like, shall we?
All right. truck on in there. She's probably trying to help Cornelius play with the notebook since unless not anyone needed forging. So
Cool.
All right.
Reese will probably take him to the dining hall, so there's food and drink, and people can sit and be comfy. And he'll kind of just sit down and then look around the table and be like, "So, been a bit rough in our group, hasn't it?"
it's been an intense few weeks. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Intense is definitely a word for it. So I thought I'd get us all together so that we can air everything out and resolve everything that's ever bothered us about each other before we go into, I don't know, a fight that killed the last bunch of heroes that tried to take it on. Seems pretty serious. And we all want to be on our top game, don't we?
Would probably be a good idea.
Having unity going into this would probably be for the best for all of us.
Agreed. I don't normally do this. In fact, I very rarely speak up about this, but I'm tired. You know?
Hey,
And I would like people who are supposed to be my allies to stop sniping at each other in the middle of the battlefield, of course, but there's other tensions, I'm sure, as well. Like, when was the last time we sat down and had a drink together? Huh?
it's been a bit, I think. At least for me.
We seem to all just be doing our own thing separately in our own little corners and not really paying attention to one another, which doesn't seem like a very unified force to me.
Well, our attention has just been naturally been split between, well, we haven't had a group sort of mission in like a while. A couple of days ago was the first time we all been were able to sync up with each other.
I think that's kind of his point, though, isn't it, lad?
Yeah, the only time we spend with each other is if we need something from each other, if we're in a fight, or, you know, if we're upstairs in a meeting with Nara. That's it. What are we? Do we even know each other?
Probably a lot less lately.
That's the point.
Kinda. I'll just say, at least for my part, I was kinda letting everybody be. It seemed every time we go out, somebody or another has something big happen. Figured, we used to hunt each other down when we needed a hand. Seemed
Yeah,
like
but when everybody has a problem, does anybody want to bother each other? All we have is problems. And we've just been letting each other deal with our own shit for months.
Well, it's I mean, I only know peripherally just only like a fraction of what you've been going through, just from hearsay. But um,
How many?
I keep an open door policy. Um, no one's really ever approached me to talk about
It
anything.
isn't something to get defensive about. I just want us to fix it.
Um,
And move on.
well, For my part, I'm sorry that I've been snippy in the past sort of like mission decision things.
That's a good start.
I wish, I mean, to be completely frank, I didn't actually have a problem with you guys going there. I was just trying to make my case. Sorry if I came off how I did. I'll try to be mindful of that in the future. But um, if that really bothered anyone, and Reeves looks meaningfully at Tomas, I would have preferred if you had come to me and just say so, because I I agree that we should be that we should be united in this. So the last thing I want is bad blood.
Yeah, I'm not singling anybody out. This is just for us to air everything, have a nice meal, have some drinks, and maybe feel more like a unified group of people instead of a bunch of strangers that are about to go out and possibly die.
I will admit I don't always handle my issues properly or healthily or like an adult, and I do apologize for that, Reeves. But my issue was largely with you telling us that we were not listening to you, and the moment I tried to explain myself to you, you walked away from me.
To be quite honest, I don't even remember you speaking up.
I tried to, and you walked away.
I didn't even hear you. I was that upset. Sorry. But but
I'll
if
be
that
right back.
specifically bothered you, I would have gladly listened to you as opposed to having you blow up on me 2 weeks later.
And I admit that I do not always handle my issues properly or like an adult, and I apologize for that.
All right, sounds I I've I've largely let it go. Um, Square?
Where?
While they were talking, Mika would have like edged and scuttled out real quick, and then come back with some for her dwarven booze.
Reese gives Mika a look, pulls out a bottle of wine, and nods.
I mean, options.
Reeves pulls out a mixture that looks like cider.
Go cross-eyed when you smell it from 10 feet away.
It's very appley, but it doesn't. But upon closer inspection, it doesn't really have the consistency that you would expect of cider.
Fun lore fact about goblin, halfling, and gnome alcohols. Due to body size, they are typically closer to wine coolers and light alcoholic drinks like ciders than hard liquor.
That's perfect.
It's beautiful.
Well, airing our getting grievances out of the way, I don't think that's exactly completely what you're after. But if you're looking for, I don't know, it seems that you kind of want to see like a cultural shift within the group,
Yeah, I want us to feel unified.
and I think we can definitely take steps to do that. Um, uh, that won't happen overnight, and
No, it won't. But it can start. And our group can start feeling better tonight in the next couple of days before we go into the demon host. Listen, I don't do this very often. When was the last time I've ever asked anything of all of you?
That's actually kind of the point, is you haven't been.
I know. Because for a long time, I thought if I spoke up about anything, I would lose people. Because I didn't have people like you do. I don't have a place to go back to.
Well, then what the hell is Tomas?
I mean, well, this is before Tomas.
Like,
well, in a manner of speaking, um, we all of us have our connections, but Uh, I don't think necessarily any of us are tied to them, greater or lesser extent.
I was more just referring to why I didn't speak up about anything ever.
Yeah, on the topic of attachment, though, I've rebuilt probably an entire temple and a town hall, my city.
Accidentally, if it almost offended Fey gods.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
happened.
I am attached.
Looking back, I probably should help you with the temple. I did burn it down in the first place.
Oh, it's done. It's okay. Yeah, I finished it last week, 2 weeks ago.
I see.
Get that last wall put up then that we were working on.
Mm.
Nice.
The Cantress came and helped finish it.
Does everyone still have Reeves reaches into one of his pouches and pulls out the clan dagger that Mika gave them?
Reese
What-
pulls his off his hip. Yep.
Yeah, Mika pats her hip.
Lamont just shakes his quiver because it's in there somewhere.
Reese is going to give Tomas a judgmental look.
So will
Damn it.
Mika.
It's with the other stabby items.
I can't say I'd be lying if I wouldn't pay you to stick that on an arrow and see how well that would go, but
I mean, what are arrows but knives you just deploy from across the battlefield?
It might be a little bit off though.
I didn't really design it for flight, so right.
I'm sorry you felt that way, Reese. I wish there was more that I could have done to make you feel like you could just, air anything out.
Let's be honest, I've changed who I am as a person so often that it's probably nobody's fault.
I mean, fair, but I don't know. Hearing you say that makes me feel like I could have done something more to help you.
Yes, well, I've started coming to terms with a lot of things in my existence, so.
But even when I was like mad at you all, he just holds up the clan dagger and kind of twirls it between his fingers. Um, I I don't know. I still consider you all friends. Uh, family even. Though that's just me.
Mika's practically gone googly eyed. It's like that everyone still has theirs.
Family would probably be a more accurate descriptor because family argues like this a lot more than friends do.
Actually tame in my experience.
I wouldn't know, I didn't have any siblings. Well, I have siblings now, but it's a little different. Speaking of siblings, I headbutted my brother.
Which one?
Reese, in the back of your mind, you hear, "You're better off."
Reese looking around the mansion like, what the fuck?
How'd you get in here?
It was
Let
from
you
inside
pass.
the head.
Oh, that's
Oh.
fair.
Which
It's not
brother?
that sneaky.
Which brother did you headbutt?
Torsek.
Think he enjoyed it.
He did.
It was fucking hilarious, honestly.
Also, my sister seems to be doing well.
Stopped us from pissing off 3 of the 4 Fey gods.
Yeah, she did.
What?
The one we met.
Yes. The green one.
The green one, yes.
Mhm.
She scares me.
She terrifies me as well. So.
What were you doing that you nearly pissed off a bunch of Fey gods?
We didn't built a shrine effect, but didn't put a shrine for all the other Fey gods. They get jealous.
Apparently, if you worship one, you have to worship all of them.
Yes.
Ha!
Well, you have to respect all of them.
Good to know.
They're very jealous, vain, fickle.
Yeah, I don't think I've been back to your settlement there, Tomas, since I helped you with that last wall. So it's been a bit.
It's nice. You
Yeah.
should come visit sometime if we survive this.
Kept meaning to.
Yeah, the last time anybody else would have visited probably would have been late fall, like early winter, so it's probably been a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Probably much nicer in the Elven lands when it's not cold as fucking all hell.
Um. So uh, this is a practice I picked. I've sort of heard about in like thieves guilds like in the city or other sort of organizations. But he sets down the clan dagger and just sort of like on the table and just sort of like pushes it in towards the center with his hand still on it. Um, maybe we can start by making pledges to each other. Um, if that sounds of in, if that sounds like something of interest.
Sure. Though I can't say I've ever pledged to anything before.
I have. It didn't go well.
Hmm.
I have memories of pledging myself to Cedar and his troop, though not exactly mine, but um so again, I apologize for how I've behaved, but I like I said, I think of you all as family, and I was just wanting to advocate for what I thought was best to see us all through this mess. But he takes a deep sigh and lets out a deep sigh and says, um, but at the end of the day, that is my pledge. I want to pledge to see that I make sure each and every one of you gets out on the other side of this.
I'll drink to that.
Mika will pop her dagger off her belt and lay it on the table in the same fashion as Reebs's. It's like, it's pretty much exactly. Well, I think I fumbled the whole spiel when I gave these to you guys in the first place, but it's what these daggers were, there are, was I'm pledged to do what I've been doing for all you, was keeping y'all in one piece one way or another and getting it done. So, as long as you got my dagger, you got my pledge.
Reese will put his on the table as well and say, well, same to all of that, but I also will endeavor to try not to be a complete asshole to you, because apparently that's been a thing that has been happening lately.
I'm just gonna give him a look.
Don't look at me.
We already talked about it. Can I just say that I pledge, or do I need to find my dagger? Because that I don't honestly, to an extent, know what's.
How do you have so many arrows in there?
It's magic. There's also, I think, still maybe a puddle of poisons that I didn't clean out
Oh,
a
look, it's
while ago.
oozing.
What? Yeah, yeah.
I think I'll take your word that you've got it buried in there. I'd rather you not lose a finger trying to find it.
Reese is
Yeah,
judging very
I'll,
openly.
Reese, I'll find it. Okay, just maybe not at the dinner table.
Holding you to that.
Although if living in your quiver has damaged it, I'll both be horrified and impressed.
No, the dagger just deals poison instead of piercing damage now. It's fused into its very essence.
That would be
It's
awesome.
terrifying.
That would be awesome. Mika would be into that.
What does a mixture of cold iron, blanch, a little bit of giant centipede venom, black adder venom, and grave root do?
Probably some kind of anti-demon poison.
Cool.
Neat.
Or you'll die when you touch the arrow to fire it. One of the two.
Neat.
Yeah.
either way. Little column A, little column
It'll
B.
kill something.
Reese is gonna look at Wolf and Lana and be like, "You in, puppy, Lana?"
Wolf is down to 4 cups this entire time.
Reese wouldn't expect anything else.
Oh, it's not from excitement or cheering. Wolf is having social anxiety.
Oh
no.
If he starts making inroads on, what's he been drinking is the question.
That's a good question.
Your
The table comes
dwarven
equipped
stuff.
with wine.
Oh, he's been.
I don't know if 4 cups is gonna kill Wolf.
Hopefully not.
It's some.
I don't know what's a fortitude save look like.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's some pretty good stuff.
Is your constitution like 21 or something right now?
It's pretty intense.
Yeah. 21.
18. Yeah, roll me a fortitude.
Oh god.
You're probably okay.
Yeah, you feel like a little you feel like a little lightheaded, a little tipsy, but not like nearly as bad. Like a normal human would probably be unconscious, but you're fine.
Wolf's gonna raise his cup. I'm always in.
That's when Mika will look at him and go, "How much of this have you weighed the barrel? Fuck."
I'm not gonna let any of you die. Wolf does not answer that. He does give you a smirk, though.
Mika's gonna pour shots for everybody else before Wolf drinks all of it.
Shots! I've been drinking it by the cup!
Oh goodness.
I think you'll live. You're too big to. I think the last one who drank with me with this stuff with me was Reese, so you might die. We'll see.
But to give you guys indication for Wolf, like, he wouldn't let you know this, obviously, but he keeps the group clan dagger. That we all have a clan, like we have a group dagger, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember
clan
correctly.
dagger.
Yeah, Mika
He
has
keeps
one
it
going.
right next to his family dagger. So
Aw.
Baby.
read into that as you will.
Cute.
Mika's shriveled little heart would swell.
You still have yours, Lana?
Yeah. And she'll just kind of go sifting through her bag and just kind of bring it out. And she'll just kind of bring it forward and just lay it on the table. It's like, I don't even know what I can really pledge at this point, but I mean, of course I'm gonna keep, you know, fighting with all of you until this is over. I had like I had been.
It's a good reaffirmation that we're all on the same page. Sweet. So now, I think we should all have a very good meal, a lot to drink, and decide to leave anything else in the past and just move forward. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Works for me.
Cheers. Great. Now I can finally get drunk and forget that I decided to do this. Sweet. And he's just going to down his glass.
As he just turns off his fucking immunity to drunk.
Yep.
Mika's kind of side-eyeing Lana. Not entirely sure about it. It sounds a little off.
Yeah, Lana's a little out of it, but you know she has water and she just kind of, you know, hangs out.
Reeves is just gonna drink from his large mason jar full of full of scrap cider.
Oh God. S- At some
He
point,
brew
Miko
he brewed it himself.
say at some point Mika will ask for like, will be like, so what is that exactly?
Oh, it's scrap cider.
Scrap cider. As in,
The
I
fuck is
brewed it.
that?
I brewed it myself.
Oh.
I'll try
There's
anything
just
once.
like some glass.
Miko, hold her mug over. Can I try?
Sure. And
Mika, no. Mika.
he'll pour a little in there as a sampler.
Did you
Flight.
brew that in your workshop?
Yes, in a
Oh.
very. Okay, there is a area. Look. Look.
Mika's
I-
already downed half of it.
Gunpowder's in that.
I hope there's no gunpowder in that.
There is no gunpowder in it. It was made in a sterile corner of the shop.
The fact that you only have a sterile corner, Reeves.
Look, it's there's you know when I think about it, I could probably just ask Donna for more space, but I didn't actually think of doing that until now.
Do you need me to come prestidigitation your workshop?
Don't think prestation.
I don't think you want to go in there.
Say, Mika's already downed it. Is she dead?
No, there's like no real alcoholic content to speak of. It is just
Yeah.
kind of like sweet, and it's like a cider stout, if anything.
Yeah, it's like a halfway point between a cider and an oatmeal stout, probably.
Yep.
Although Mika's a happy camper. Like, trade her a small, very small thing of her dwarven booze over to Reeves.
Like
This
I
will
said, it's
probably kill me.
probably like the equivalent of like a wine cooler to Mika.
Yes,
Say,
very
pretty,
much.
It's pretty tasty stuff, but this you might want to take this one a little more slowly.
He will start to gently sip at it.
Give me a fortitude save.
Oh boy.
It definitely hits harder, but
Oof.
if you work your way through it, you're able to get down the drink without too many issues. Definitely feel lightheaded after a shot, though.
Mika's just grinning.
Why is the room spinning?
Get used to it.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like having no control over my fine motor functions. Oh no,
It's the best feeling.
he falls out of his chair.
Oh, there he go.
I'm okay.
Mika just kind of like collar, just kind of sits him back in the chair.
Is this spell similar to like the 5e spell where it has
Yes.
like little ghostly servants?
Yes, they are. What are they called?
Spectrals?
They're like dragony pixies. I forget
Oh.
what they're called. Draxies, maybe? I don't remember.
Ah.
But they're Pathfinder 2e critter.
I remember you
There's
giving
like
the name.
pseudo dragons and like pixie dragons.
Yeah, pixie dragons.
Gonna call one over and ask it for catnip wine.
Oh my god.
For Maya!
Okay, yeah. I think it can technically produce enough to feed 100 people. So,
Yeah.
and it can do whatever.
I'm gonna give his cat wine.
Probably gonna bring a bucket of it.
Hmm.
Easier, she's a lady.
It brings a gilded bucket.
Exactly.
So before we all forget, I don't want to bring too much business to this particular table,
Mm.
but oh, 1 second. Uh, oh, okay, I'm good. Um, we should probably have a more in-depth conversation about the spear.
Yeah, I've been trying to help Cornelius with his new addition there, and see if I could and just in his library in general, because no one's really needed any armor work lately. So
Yeah, I talked to Charles more about it. Charles had a request for us. But hold on, let me flip through my books real quick.
Charles.
He's one of the oh he's one of the
Asai?
Cornelius.
Kos people.
Ah, okay. I've mostly chatted with Cornelius. The others don't really talk to me too much.
Tomas apparently made a friend.
Yeah, I asked him what he wanted to be called. His name is Charles now.
Oh, good to know.
Okay. He had a request for us.
Yeah, sorry, and he's like flipping through a little book that he keeps as I flip through my little book as I keep.
Tomas's memory gets really bad when he drinks.
I am 187 years old, Reese. My memory's been bad like 80 years ago.
Tomas, I hate to tell you this, but you can live to be like 800 years old. You're not exactly old.
Shut up.
No.
Is he like 20 in
Yeah.
human years?
Yeah.
Tomas quietly ignoring them as he looks through his book.
But
It's okay.
yeah, at any rate, we hadn't really found pretty much anything useful. I was trying to even figure out who it was I was seeing when I talked to when I grabbed the spear in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I got some
Uh,
guesses, but I don't think haven't really figured out a whole bunch of info.
right.
Out of character, Sam, I remembered that something about this.
What?
I feel like you have this info somewhere.
What is it?
The info about who the
Who it
guy in the
belongs
vision
to? Oh
is.
yeah, I know who it belongs to. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure Charles told me that Tomas is allowed to shoot the god of lost knowledge for him, but I can't find that note.
What the fuck?
What?
I vaguely
pretty sure-
remember that.
I swear Charles gave him permission.
I feel like Charles asked him to do that too.
Yes.
Ugh,
Oh my goodness.
we were in like a weird joint roleplay session.
I got you. So I brought it up briefly, and you all probably made the same connection as well. The banner appears to be made of the same sort of weave as Zeise's weave.
It seems similar, yeah. At least it does a similar thing. I don't know where Zeiss if he made his or if this was given out by him or what, but
Right, which leads to the point of if this is technically contraband, um
I mentioned that to Charles.
Hmm?
I'm pretty sure I mentioned that to Charles. He said we should probably talk to Zeises,
Yeah.
but like we gotta kill
Yeah.
the Demonos first.
we don't have
yes.
we don't have time to go. Like, when is this
After the
conversation happening? Like, do we have time?
After.
Okay.
Assuming we don't die.
Assuming we don't die, but as
And that
soon
ethos
as
doesn't descend from the heavens and smite us all while we're on the battlefield.
that too.
I want to say as long as we might be of use, I don't think he will, but I wouldn't put so much faith into most of his associates. Yeah, we'll go with that phrase.
I might ask to borrow that spear if ever decides to show his ugly face on the battlefield.
That would be the associate I'm worried about, but
Yeah, I kind of want to fucking kill him.
I'll
Oh,
drink to
geez.
that.
Ross is giving a look at Reese when he says borrow.
I mean, I'll
Reese is gonna squint at Tomas and then be like, "Oh, that's weird. I'm gonna drink more."
But yeah, wait, was somebody asking who the sphere belonged to?
Say
I
Mika
have
was
that information.
Mika was talking about trying to figure it out and having a guess based on like the book that they had found with the writing, and so I think she had a guess as to who it was, but trying to confirm and find any info about people was not. I never got a chance to do a session where she or any sort of
Oh.
digging.
I did.
So if you've got info about it, please let me know.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm allowed to shoot the God of Lost Knowledge, potentially, probably, according to Charles, is that pretty sure he blocked out some pages of the book because there are pages missing. Fun fact. Charles is very mad about that. Um, y'all know that Rouse had a brother?
According to that book, he does.
Yeah, I was gonna say it said Einar in it, didn't it? That was
Yeah.
at least what was actually written on it that we could see.
Yeah, Rouse killed him.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, he Highlandered him.
He what now?
You keep using this term. Stop it. It's not a word. It's not going to be a thing.
Very much already is. I have said it multiple times.
Does Brescia have Highlands?
I think yes.
Technically, in parts of it.
So who you're saying? So right, Russ had the brother. Is Einar who I was talking to when I was?
Yeah.
He had some interesting things to say, that's for sure. But
so essentially, Rouse, Einar, and their dad Sigbjorn were from the Age of the Demigods, when there was like that whole slew where Brianna and Ethos and Xyces thought, hey, let's give little bits of divinity to everybody. It won't go wrong, right?
It went super wrong.
I think they're really bad at making plans.
Seems
They're
that
almost
way.
as bad at making plans as we are.
I think we're a little bit better.
I don't know.
We haven't caused a war yet.
Yeah.
They have. They've caused multiple.
We haven't been operating for very long. It's only been a year. Give it
They
time.
caused multiple. I'm just
Give
saying.
it time. Give it time.
But anyways, so when everybody was given a little bit of divinity, they realized that if they killed each other, they could steal each other's hats. That's what I'm calling Highlandering.
Stealing hats is Highlandering? What does
Yeah.
that even mean? What is the correlation there?
Why not just hat stealing?
I mean, it's syllables.
Where did you even get this word from?
Oh, it's an old novel. I actually read the same one. It's a story.
Oh.
Kind of like
Why didn't you just say that, Tomas?
It's more fun to watch you squirm.
Reese is gonna reach out and punch Tomas in the arm.
God, that actually hurts now. Fuck.
I know.
Anyways, Sigbjorn lasted centuries doing this, and then decided to split all of his power between his two kids. And by the end of the book, Rouse killed Einar for his power. Brescia, originally only a tiny little place that was Rouse's. The entire middle of what we now call Brescia belonged to Einar. Kirali people, actually originally Einar's people. Fun fact, little known bit that I learned. But the book ended with Rouse killing him, and then there's weird empty page spots that didn't make sense, and the story didn't read well.
Wait, okay, whoa. So
What?
Einar, that's when I was. Einar had an army with him, and we were
Uh-huh.
looking at. I thought it was Faircrest, but maybe
Yeah, it
not.
would have been Faircrest.
So yeah,
Faircrest was Rouse's spot.
he gave kind of a bit of a speech, and I wish I could remember more of what he had said, but yeah, it didn't. I don't know. I wasn't me, but I was there. It was kind of a strange thing. But then we did the banner bit, and so the book is scrambled after that. Does it
Matt
have
just
any
posted it in
words?
general.
Okay, I don't have my thing lit up to be able to see that. There it is.
Uh,
That was it. Yes. So, so if the book was messed up after that bit there, what did it have in it?
OOC, real quick. Charles did say that you could kill the god of lost knowledge. He asked you to because of the gaps in the pages.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Anyways,
Yeah.
continue. Sorry.
That part's very important to Tomas, so I'm glad you remember it too.
Oh my
I didn't write
goodness.
it
It
down.
would be.
Reese likes the god of lost knowledge.
I also like him.
He's a bitch.
He did nothing wrong.
He did everything wrong.
That we know of.
This is a constant fight for Reese. Just getting Tomas like a god is like an uphill battle.
Tomas doesn't like having cryptic things told to him.
Nope.
Okay, so we're all in agreement that we will bro- broach the topic with the Zeises when we have a moment.
Yeah. I feel like
Okay.
after the demon host, we need to go god hunting. One for Zeises, the other for the god of lost knowledge, just in general. Zeises might be less of a hunt, more of a hey buddy, can we come visit?
Yeah, less of a hunt and more like afternoon tea.
Yeah. Tea and then hunting.
You don't recall him giving you any way to get back in touch with him.
Tomas is just assuming Nara.
Say honestly,
It's a
so
good
is
guess.
Mika. It's like we figure something out. We know how to. We got there in the first place. We'll get there again.
Mhm.
I was just going to yell like at a wall or something, and see
Ooh.
if see if he was listening.
I could. Silk has taught me a little bit about how to pull on the strings of fate. Maybe if I pull on them enough, he'll come down.
That I
That
don't
sounds like a bad
know.
idea.
That's a bad way to do that, Tomas.
I agree.
A fucking skeleton in a cop outfit's gonna kick in the door and drag Tomas away to hell.
But guys, I'll see you soon.
That would be an awful way for you to go, Tomas.
Wouldn't be the first time he went to jail.
This is true. Even
So
in this
is a little
campaign.
different.
You know, it's actually kind of surprising that certain members of this party haven't gone to jail more than we already have.
Surprising Reese never went to jail. But then again, they weren't in a position to be put in jail very often.
No, they weren't.
No. We were in Chino's mind place. We were all like in a prison for a little bit.
Yeah, I
So-
would definitely
so-
went to jail.
So they're also in uh the one place with the dragon.
Tomas got arrested for blowing up a toilet.
Oh yeah.
I think Tomas almost got actually arrested in Brescia. I think he was almost a smarmy bitch to one of the palace guards.
Probably.
Oh my god.
That actually sounds kind of familiar.
Of all the people.
All right,
Reese
well
has
that's
bad
the
taste in men. What?
all right. Well, that's the only bit of business that I wanted to broach.
Sweet.
Didn't
The rest can wait till later.
I was gonna say, didn't Reeves want like Mika to unfurl the thing and see, or try to do the banner trick again and see if it would do it? Like I remember him
No.
asking something about like being able to like can we look he really wanted to look at the banner. I remember that much.
Oh, I think we actually did that where he looked at the material and try to mentally compare it to what he saw.
Gotcha. Okay, I couldn't remember if we'd
so-
actually done that or
Yeah,
not.
we did it last session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did not have enough brain cells to remember that.
Well, I think it's a good time to get really drunk and get very full of food.
Mm.
I mean, there's
Mhm.
bedrooms in here for all of you, so like it doesn't matter if we're in here or not.
Yeah, no driving home drunk.
Yeah, no staggering into the observatory trashed. Nara will be more angry than you will be sorry.
Not like it's never happened yet. I'm sure Mika's probably been drunk on the fountain more than once.
All right. Reeves will raise a glass and say, "To an evening without any further cares."
Cheers to that. Who
Indeed.
knows? Maybe you'll get me drunk enough that I'll wrestle with one of you into my dragon form.
That's fucking
Marshall
Christ.
just grinned.
Reese is just gonna stare at Wolf.
Oh, you mean that kind of wrestling?
Reese is gonna do a double take at Tomas. What?
And Mika's
What?
gonna cackle.
There are other forms of wrestling.
Yeah.
Wolf flicks water at both of you.
Reese, what did I do?
Like I'm familiar with like Bressian forms of wrestling. Is this like an Olgarian thing or?
I don't want to think about it. I'm just gonna keep drinking.
Oh, but
Though we might have to be careful. I'm not sure what will happen if we break one of the walls on the outside of this. We might all get sucked into like a black hole or something.
that might be fun.
No, I don't think it'll
Do
be very
adventure.
fun.
Is that even theoretically possible?
I'm not sure.
I don't think. Even if we did, I don't think it would get us out of fighting. Nara would find a way to yank us back.
I'm
What are
not
these
sure what
walls made
actually
of?
happens. Magic.
Magic what?
Just magic.
Magic drywall?
Solid
Re-
magic that looks like actual material.
Reeves
It's
will
laws of
manifest.
force.
What does the
Reeves will-
material look like?
Wood.
Well,
Mahogany.
Mahogany.
Deaths.
That's good.
God, Toma. I mean, God, Reese.
Reeves will summon Skeleton Key into his hand. It's like, I was like, okay, how stupid do we want to be?
No. This is
No.
a pocket dimension. We don't want to break a pocket
Do it.
dimension.
Reeves is just like looking very, very expectantly towards Reese and Tomas, just like back and forth.
Don't. Don't. Don't.
yes.
I want
yes.
to enjoy my evening. I don't want to potentially get sucked into nothingness.
I want the camera to pan from you guys as you're talking as Wolf goes to kick a hole in the wall.
Go for it, champ. Roll me an athletics check.
Oh my god.
Mika is
It's just
scooting
that
to shift.
slow pan.
Mika is scooted over next to Lana at this point.
Oh
Re-
my fucking! Why is it such a high roll?
Wow.
So Wolf, you go to just kick. You like limber yourself up a bit, like. Alright, here's time to do what I do best. And you get a running start and just drop kick the wall and just kick off the wall and shoot into the next room.
Oh. What the? Am I injured or anything?
Did he just get like bounced off the wall?
He
Not
clipped.
bounced, he just kicked it hard enough to fucking kick through like plate metal, but it's made of fucking unbendable force. So he just fucking kicked his ass off the wall. You took 3 damage from hitting the ground and skidding.
He's just like, oh well, it's good to know that.
Mika,
Okay.
a hand.
You got two
Wolf
of
is
them.
like a large, edgy turtle.
I
All you
guess.
see is a giant wolf arm raised up as if he can't get up.
You've got two of them.
Hey, I mean, help him up for the sake of it. I thought this was all about team building.
Wait, guys, I got this.
Do you?
What's gonna go helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mickey, roll me an athletics check.
I'm excited.
Yeah!
Oh my god.
You have no bonuses still. Oh my goodness.
Untrained, 0 modifier.
It's like trying to lift an anchor with your fucking twig arms.
Wolf, you're going on a diet. Fucking hell, what the fuck?
Reese is like, wait, I want to try. He walks over to Wolf. He grabs his arm and he's like, all right, buddy, let's go. Let's go.
It's like getting drunk and trying to pull the sword out of the fucking stone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Just instantly like yank you up onto your feet and put you down. Like, there you go, buddy.
Reese pats him on the shoulder, stumbles back into his chair, sticks into it. Yeah.
It's disorienting.
Yep.
Color me impressed.
I forgot how good Reese was at that now.
Lana, I think your training
the-
program's been working wonders.
I just really like the 30 difference.
All it takes is 100 push-ups a day,
Yeah, and 100 squats.
and
Mine's more the dragon stuff, but
I was just gonna stare at them. He's like, you do that willingly?
Willingly is a strong word for that.
Tomas, considering all of your extracurricular activities,
Hmm?
one would think that you wouldn't have a problem with extensive amounts of exercise.
Yeah, but not that kind.
Oh my god.
Are other kinds of exercise?
Nope.
I can't believe that Reeves is stealing my thing.
Doing what?
Reeves, apologize to Lana.
I'm sorry?
Reeves, you ever hear about the birds and bees?
No,
Um,
Tomas. Not at the dinner table.
Make an insight check.
That's just a perception check, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
I'm gonna fail this.
I rolled a natural too. What the
You
fuck?
did. Tomas really did.
Okay,
Wow.
Reeves is he's drunk, so his mask is faltering, but he definitely knows what you're talking about. He's just trying to fuck with you.
You just see like the tiniest little slivers of a smirk.
Reese makes an eek face and drinks more.
Tomas just grinned.
Y'all are a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
When was the last time Tomas got to make vague sexual innuendos at Reeves?
He does it a lot, actually.
I mean, the last RP session.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
If you mean like in front of like
Everybody. It's been a bit, I think.
Yeah.
non-consensual witnesses, yeah, it's been a little bit.
That's a good term for it.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add to the scene? Otherwise, I think that was a wonderful little bonding moment between you all.
Oh my gosh.
Miko, if probably things get later, Miko probably try and like catch Lana for a chat later, but that's can be an offline bit.
Yeah.
All right. So, you all enjoy a nice little night of light revelry, drinks, and food. As Reese offered, anybody that wants to is free to stay in the mansion for the night. At one point, Tomas wanders out and is lugged back in by Nicandros for safekeeping. But otherwise, I think it is a good point to wrap up that little adventure there. So, you all rest up, and we'll pick up from the following day. Wolf.
Well, Yeah.
Uh, the next day, Zara flags you down.
Hmm.
Pup, can I have a moment of your time?
Of course.
So she pulls you aside into her little office. Emmy is not currently there, probably getting some rest considering how long their shifts work. Um, but she just sits down with you and just takes a breath for a moment before looking at you in the eyes and says, I have a request of you, Pup. I know the mission that you are about to go on is dangerous, but there is someone I would like you to take with you. As much as he is loath to insert himself into things, considering what you are going to face and who you are going to retrieve, I think it would be good for Gunnar if he came with you.
Well, ponder that for a moment, kind of looking down at his feet before looking back with a face of, I guess, determination would be the best way to describe it, and will nod.
I appreciate it.
Bring him back safe.
I expect you to bring back everyone safe, as you have thus far. Unfortunately, I will be kept on hand to make sure that nobody is injured within the tower, but no matter what happens, make sure that everyone returns with you. No matter what state you're in, I'll make sure we live to see tomorrow. But until then, hopefully, he may be able to offer you assistance. I have not had a chance to test this before, so it might feel a bit uncomfortable, but I believe that with Gunnar's gift, I can open up a bridge between us.
Bridge?
Yes, remember that place where we met with the survivors within that monster we slayed up in the hunting grounds?
Why would I ever forget it?
It is. I think the closest way to describe it would be a sort of dream state. Like the mansion that Reese often brings out, except in the astral plane, a place of souls and dreams tethered to ours, but normally inaccessible. Gunnar's gift is tied heavily with that realm, and under his guidance, I think I can drag us both there. And when all is said and done, bring us back once it is done, if you are willing to try.
Always willing to try.
She just smiles a bit. Hopefully, this will not be too uncomfortable then, but I ask that you bear with it until it is over, regardless. And she extends one of her hands out to you.
Wolf extends his.
And she just lightly grasps that hand in hers and then puts her other on the side of your head and leans her forehead into yours. And for a second, it feels like your body, like the floor drops out from underneath your feet. And You fall for a moment before feeling almost like your body is engulfed in ice cold water, tingling, freezing sensation across the flesh before you snap back. And you and Zara are standing in that mindscape, the frozen remnants of the land that you know as the hunting grounds. And as she releases you and pulls away, she looks over towards her left to a familiar face. And standing there, a bit confused or perhaps startled at first, but after realizing what had happened, the face of Gunnar smiles over at you eagerly, Wolf, and says, "It is a pleasure to see you again."
Twice to you. Always good to see you.
And he walks over and just grasps the hand you had extended out for Zara with both hands and just shakes it. I will likely not be of too much help, but Zara has helped me figure out how to assist in little ways, even from within here. Perhaps not to the same extent that I have shown her, but if there's anything to do to help you, I will. Just if you ever feel the hairs rising up on the back of your neck, know it is me trying to help. Try not to resist. Just smiles at you eagerly for a moment. Um, you normally carry Moonfang on your back, right?
Yes.
Yep. After a moment, Wolf, you feel the sword shift and grow lighter for a moment before you see it materialize into that canine form before Gunnar, and his eyes light up for a moment as he drops down and scriffs at the side of what you know is a collection of blade shards, but it doesn't seem to cut his hand, as he just seems to eagerly pet the sentient weapon. Have you been taking good care of him, friend? I'm glad to see that you came out of this well. And they seem to converse in a language that you don't understand for a moment, that before he looks back up at you and says, "Thank you for taking good care of him. He has nothing but good things to say about you." So
I would say it's the complete opposite. He's taking good care of me.
perhaps so. He is quite good at that. And perhaps I could help jog his memory a little to make sure that we can both fulfill the promises we made to her. Before he looks over at Zara and smiles. And Wolf, as the dream begins to fade, I'm going to add another variant of Moonfang to your list.
Oh shit.
You now have access to Waning Moon. It is the defensive form of the weapon. So when you have it out, it is a 1d8 weapon that you can two-hand to turn it into 1d10, and it passively gives you a +1 to AC and allows you to parry to get an additional +1 to your AC.
Ooh.
So it is the defensive form of Moonfang. Also, if you are in Blood Moon, while you have it out, you are constantly treated as parrying, so you have a passive +2 instead of a passive +1.
Shit.
So something to keep in mind whenever you are in combat.
Does that? I'm guessing that requires an action to switch to.
It's the same thing as any of the other forms. You get one free switch per turn, and anything after that costs an action.
Gotcha.
Yep. And if you drop out of Waning Move, you lose any of the defensive buffs it gives you that turn.
Okay.
So it needs to be the form you end your turn with to have any defensive stuff up.
Oh, gotcha. Sweet.
All right. Thought you would appreciate that. Okay. Let me check my notes here. All right. Um, Want to take a quick 15-minute break? I have a few more things planned so we can get things rolling for the next session, but I think it would be good for everybody to get up and get a drink real quick, and I need to ping somebody a message in the meantime. So let's meet back here at, say, 10:15.
Sounds good.
Word.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Little sleepy ass bitch. Why are you so tired all the time? Gotta sleep so you can wake up at 4 a.m. and sprint in circles screaming. Oh,
Needs to rest and store his power.
yeah. He's just scream me awake early on my weekends.
Scream me to the moon.
Let me blap across the stars.
I love it when father throw me like football across the apartment.
do you eat your cat often?
No,
Okay.
I am very afraid of him actually getting hurt.
Yeah, same. I accidentally yeeted Isaac one time because I got really riled up. It's like, ooh, that scared the hell out of me. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah,
It
like
was,
I'll
it was,
slap him on the butt if he's being rude, but like that's the extent of it.
yeah, he was very, very small and was getting up to some shit, and I just kind of picked him up and yelled him. I'm like, oh, no, that was a mistake. Never doing that again. I've learned my lesson. I'm sorry, my
Toss the
baby.
cat too hard.
Don't
Ringo
toss the cat too hard.
Ringo gets yoked, but it's always on like a bed.
Yeah. No, that was when I was still learning a lot about pet ownership, and yeah.
That's fair.
Like I'll underhand chuck him out of the kitchen, but that's usually just distance throwing, and he just looks around confused for a second before waddling off.
Yeah. No, like Isaac just got back up to his feet and just kind of was like, "All right, dude," and just kind of went into the bedroom. And I looked at him and like, "Oh, I feel like such a fucking dick. Never doing that again."
I think the worst Leo ever had to put up with was Leo hockey.
Leo hockey, huh?
When he was still a kitten, he used to regularly scream me awake at 2 a.m.
Mhm.
So I had hardwood floors in that place, so he'd sit outside my door crying. So one day I opened the door, he's like, "Father, are you here to play with me?" And I just whapped him down the hallway, and he skid like 20 feet, and he stopped doing that. Considering how cats work, I'm glad he didn't want to play Leo hockey.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure one of my cats would want you to do that.
He was just not used to not constantly having a brother for
Yeah.
attention at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
got mad that I wouldn't let him inside my room to slap my models off the desk. I just remember one day waking up to the sight of him on top of my desk looking me in the eye as he just slowly tip-tapped one of my models to the edge and knocked it to the ground while I was still in a daze. And that was the last time Leo was allowed in my room. You're so fucking spoiled now. Just you wait until I have a house that has doors. You're so fucking spoiled. The only doors in here are for closets in the bathroom. You're just allowed to do whatever you want.
I have an idea for a scene I would like to get in.
You are free to do so.
Oh.
I assume this would be before the planning meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, quick update for everybody based on information that you would be made aware of from the books. COS is currently in full decryption mode for the books. For your knowledge, every single letter of every single book has been high level invisibility spelled.
Jesus.
So they have to go through and decrypt it one at a time with a different method for each letter. So right now they're just trying to get titles.
I'm
To
guessing.
see what is actually useful and what is not, like the Forbidden Cookbook.
I'm guessing True Sight doesn't help.
No. Think of it as magical encryption.
Oh boy.
Tomas asked if he could help and explain to Charles that he's generally magically constipated, and Charles said, "Sure." And then Tomas did not help.
The true Tomas ADHD experience.
Mm-hmm.
He found a really big bug that he chased around for a day and a half.
Yeah. He technically did help by making Charles angry enough to let him kill someone, so.
I mean, that's Tomas's real goal.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants the green light to murder as many of the gods as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Tomas is just going to end up making Christianity real by killing all but one god.
What the why?
Balin's the one true god.
Gonna
Of
Highlander
all
Valen's
them all.
like, I don't
things.
want this.
Christianity.
Highlander all the gods.
Tomas like, shit. This is like a fucked up, buddy. Except it's true god, two true gods. Tomas just looking at Phelan like, man, sucks to be you.
Hey, it's like the Holy Trinity. The elf, his boy, and that cryptid fucking satyr in the background.
Cryptid fucking satyr in the background.
Just feck Fortnite dancing at 4 times speed.
Just fucking T-posing.
Just fucking X-Files theme song playing in at like a fucking 4p picture of
Oh my
feck.
god.
But I hope you know that when photography gets invented, Feck is going to purposely stage Bigfoot sightings of himself.
Good.
Just like turning on his TV with a fucking big bucket of ice cream for the 9 months where he's not in power, laughing at people thinking they got pictures of him.
Okay, but Tomas coming up to Reese like, Reese, I finally found a picture of it. I'm gonna go hunt. I'll be back in like a month.
Feck
Okay,
showing up
bye.
at the ice cream, he's like, oh, that one, that's like 3 pixels in a trench coat.
Reese is like, yeah, that was pretty good.
I appreciate the dumb dipshit gods in my campaign that are like barely involved in this conflict. Like Feck and Avdar, who can't be asked to help most of the time.
To be fair, it seemed like Feck was reasonably busy. Oh, wait, no, that's Phelan that's being busy.
Phelan's busy. Feck is basically like powerless at the moment.
Yeah.
The Fae only really have full access to the remains for the 3 months that they're in power.
Yeah. Does put a bit of a cramp into it.
And you're currently in summer, so him
thought-
being the Autumn King
Oh, I thought he was
means
summer.
he hasn't been able to do shit for a bit.
Oh, Summer Maiden. Apparently she's psychotic.
Yeah. Think Midsommar.
I have not seen it, but I know by reputation, so I got the idea.
Yeah, you go to a fun little festival in the middle of a clearing, and then you wake up at the festival every single day for the rest of your life until you slowly go insane.
Wee.
That's not actually the plot of Midsommar, just I meant that aesthetic. Of flower crowns in the middle of fucking nowhere. My son. My sweet baby boy. Are you ready to pay your taxes?
Apparently, they removed the spooky death cliffs from DD.
From what?
Dazenmel Darkhold. Apparently, they removed the cliffs.
Wouldn't surprise me. They did a pass on a bunch of those low-level dungeons to make them not suck ass.
They
Yeah.
they freaking took Todorok out behind the shed.
Good.
Good.
They got
Did
rid
they
of the
do anything to
photocells.
Aurum Vale?
Aurum Vale's not mandatory in MSQ, so probably not.
Blech.
I thought that one was on the list.
I can go pop in and take a look. I'm just kind of
Actually.
standing in the
Did-
lawn.
Did they
Yeah,
remove?
did they make Grand Company membership required at a certain point? That's like the only reason I can think of adding Aurum Vale.
Yeah. Um.
Aurum
Eh,
Vale.
Did they remove all of the puzzle elements of the from Copperhell?
They did. All the bosses are just beat faces now.
Wow, that's kind of sad, actually.
Aurum Vale has gone unchanged. Can confirm. Am inside it right now.
Hey, they changed it a little while back and gave fucking coin counter AoE markers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's goaded.
Honestly, I think that's enough.
Okay. My son, I need you to get down. Thank you. Are you ready to pay your taxes so I can get back to work? You're worthless, Leo. The one thing I have you for and you can't even bother with it.
Oh.
Alright.
Should put him in jail for tax evasion.
Yeah, I'll just scream. Alright. Is everybody good to go?
Yep.
Yes.
Except
Is
for you,
Nathan
Bat?
dead?
Oh, I just said
Nathan.
yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Sephi, you said you had something you wanted to do?
I did, and then I remember the mind link is a thing that
Yeah.
we will probably have for the mission.
Most likely.
Okay,
I
never
do
mind
have
then.
the spell still,
Oh, okay.
Yep.
but it.
So,
Hold on. 1 second. I need to check something on that telepathic bond. It's recent up to 4 willing creatures, so it's not everybody.
Okay. I had a proposal for the party where so Reeves has this, which has never come up, and I would like to use it.
oh god.
So, my thought was for those that can't be linked up with Reese, if speaking is a concern for him, we could come up with like some system of code for him to relay messages.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys could spend.
Don't they both speak Draconic?
Yes.
I think they do. So,
Tomas also speaks Draconic.
okay, I think we're covered then. Never mind.
Yep.
Well, I mean the gods
You
of
still
probably
might
speak
want to.
Draconic.
Yeah,
Uh,
Draconic is will be known by any mages essentially.
Yeah.
So because you have that, the requisite is already met. So if you guys do spend some of the time planning beforehand to use double speak in case it's necessary, then I will allow you to.
okay.
Okay. I will like to do that then.
Yep.
Reese
So.
can work that into the time that he's doing vocal lessons every day.
Mhm. Yep, you're starting to be able to consistently make proper vocalizations because uh, you follow the advice you are given and start working via speaking in Draconic. Way easier to speak in Draconic with dragon vocal cords.
Imagine that.
Yeah. All right. So, does anybody have anything mechanical they want to do the last 2 days before we begin the planning party?
I don't think so.
The double speak thing was my only thing.
All right.
Can I make cold iron blanch? Am I still able to do that?
Yes, that's because that was from one of your.
I think it was
That's
from my
from
character.
your. It came from past Tomas's feat he gave to you.
Yeah. I don't remember how to do that. It's been a very, very long time.
Do you have crafting checks? Do you have a crafting?
I am trained.
Yeah, make me a crafting check. All right, you are trained. GM screen. Where's earn an income? Earn income. 16. You're trained, you said?
Mhm.
You can make 30 gold worth of cold iron blanch.
Um.
That would be 3 lessers.
Oh,
Where did you find it, Matt?
I just looked up the item.
Is it
Cold
just called
iron
cold
blanch.
iron? Okay.
Yep, it's a real item now. Ignore the item restriction. It's kind of a stupid restriction. So, 3 uses of 10 ammunition or 10 hits, depending on who uses it. All right. Are you holding on to all of those yourself, or are you distributing them to people?
I'm gonna hold on to them.
Okay. Anything else mechanical that anybody wants done before we get to talking business?
Don't think so.
Going once, going twice. All right. So, after you all make your preparations over the 2 remaining days, Nara calls you up to the observatory towards the end of the 3rd day to begin discussions on how you're going to proceed. Greetings. We finished going over the information that your jester provided and thought it might be prudent to make plans today in case the timeline is moved up tomorrow. As far as we can see, they're still making preparations at the site he provided. And given the individuals that we've spotted there, we have pretty good belief that this is the location they plan on using for the primary summoning. And Nara pulls up a world map and gestures to an open area in the middle of western Brescia that doesn't have any major population centers around it. And as it zooms in, you see a pristine stone fortress standing in the middle of a rough mountainous area. Not anything near the Dwarven Lands mountains, but um, a bit of a low, jagged peak um, that is towards the southern tip of the mountains in central Brescia. From what we can tell, this is a recently built structure, likely using some sort of advanced magecraft that should be well within Valore's wheelhouse. It's unsurprising that we've located both him and Eber at this location and have reason to believe that those are the primary two individuals that are being dispatched for this operation. From what we've been able to see, the others that we know to be working for Ethos are all dispatched to other locations for various smaller breaches and or their endeavors to push into the remaining nations that have been resisting their reach thus far. And as Nara begins to zoom in on the map location, um, you all notice that uncharacteristically, the um, Merlin that usually is seen watching you and squinting from the rafters appears to be just perched carefully on Reese's shoulder, watching the events go by. So, does anybody have any questions before we begin going through and making an initial plan? And you hear a voice come from the Merlin, but not the one that you expected. I think now would be a good time to go over the information I have for you all as well. As you hear Brianna's voice, some of you having not heard it for many months now, coming from the Merlin.
Ha.
Is that really you?
The bird turns to look towards you. Another fragment of me, yes, but one that has been in contact with my main body much more recently than the one that has been residing in Reese thus far.
I see.
The jester was kind enough to carry me with him, so that I might pass along what I was able to gather thus far to you all, and so that I might apologize for my lack of foresight regarding Ethos's plot, and the resulting need to scatter you all as I did, though I am heartened to see that you all survived.
One way or another, it's good to have you back.
This nods her head. Yes, I wasn't expecting Ethos to take such a direct role, given his past involvements in these things, but I won't be making that mistake again. I will start by saying that your plan to involve yourself in this demon host affair that they are planning is highly recommended. They likely have the means to handle it, but I am concerned about the methods available to them.
Right. Speaking of which, what is our goal here specifically?
The same goal that the Silver Order shares to permanently banish the demon host from this plane of existence. But given that we were not able to kill him a millennia ago, I imagine that you understand that is a bit more difficult than it seems. Just as you all faced 6 fragments of the being known as the demon host that represented 6 other sins, the primary body that will be emerging tomorrow is one that represents the last one, pride. And unlike the others, it contains a majority of the power of the demon that was hoisted into this world. While you have a certain ability to fight it that most others do not, you should be aware of the reason it was not able to be defeated before. Most demons have specific traits associated with them based on the sin or source of corruption of the soul that will become more powerful as they gain energy and strength through their tenure in the abyss. In the case of pride demons, well, it is extraordinarily rare, the demon host being the only one we've seen strong enough to exhibit such characteristics. It seems that they maintain almost a deific connection with the material plane once arrived, in the same sense that gods gain strength from those that believe and worship them. A pride demon gains strength and an ability to connect to the material plane so long as it exists within the mind and memory of those that it touched. So long as the history of the incursion and of the demon hosts exist, there is no way to permanently banish it. So there are only 2 methods to destroy it available to us. The first, the one that I had been training you all for, I imagine by now, given what I have been told from the jester and from the other fragment of myself within Reese, you have faced the other 6 fragments of the demon host and come out on top and witnessed what happened when you destroyed one closely tied to yourself, being pulled into one of the parallel planes to face its true essence and sever its connection, as well as its hold over the souls that it's corrupted. In a sense, you will be doing the same thing with the main body. In your presence, should you defeat it physically, you will be pulled along with the souls tied to it into a parallel plane, one that floats between the astral and the material. And hopefully, with all the strength you have gathered thus far, and with whatever remains of, excuse me, oh god, names. I'm really good at this. Reiner, you will cast out the spirit from his body, utterly destroying it in the process as you did the others. And should even its memory remain, the corrupted soul itself will have been cleansed by my touch and passed beyond its ability to return to the abyss, beyond its ability to cause further harm to the material plane. My concern lies with Ethos' plan, and why you must act even though they have the ability to destroy it. As you'll recall, I said the only way it could return is if a memory of it exists in the minds of the people of this plane. When last you met him in person, he spoke of his actions against one of the people you harbor in this tower. Against Argith. How he was able to strip any semblance of their existence, any memory of them here, from the minds of the people of this place. That power he still retains, and he intends on using it on the demon host once it has been defeated. Wiping any memory of its existence and its impact on this place from the minds of the people of this plane. In essence, as far as the people of this world are concerned, it will have never existed.
I mean, I see the logic in the plan. What's the downside of it?
Imagine, if you will, how important that event in history was, no matter how tragic. How do you fill a gap in the memory that large of the collective population?
Does he have the power to rewrite memories? I know can he can wipe out a particular memory, but does he have the power to replace it?
That is what I am concerned with. He has the means to erase, but I am concerned with if he even has the mean to, and if he does, given his previous actions thus far, what he will be replacing in its stead.
Whatever he has, if he is able to do that, whatever he has in mind, I don't trust it.
Mm-hmm.
No, especially considering the recent change in his plans.
Recent change. Maybe I'm missing something about it. Wasn't this his whole point, his whole plan in the first place?
Correct. We agreed, along with Xyces, to initiate the Godfall so that the demon host might be destroyed, and that any remnants of the incursion wiped out, so that humanity and the other mortal races would have a chance to prosper safely and rebuild. But ever since his interaction, where he retrieved the time domain from Cornelius, his plans have shifted from what I initially thought they were. Once it became clear that he was enforcing his will on people, making them the ultimatum to join the Silver Order or to forfeit their lives to the cycle of reincarnation, it became very clear that his plan would not stop when the demon host was defeated. I realized there were gaps in the methods I approved. Once he foresaw me adding for assistants that were twisted to his own purposes. The blessing that he bestows to the Silver Order will not be removed when this incursion is complete. They will
Don't like
merely
that.
lay dormant until the next threat to the realm arrives. He intends for the Silver Order to be the shield of mankind. Initially, I had thought that once the demon host had been dealt with, he would use the remaining forces to collapse upon the remaining holdouts. Either they would join, or they would join the cycle of reincarnation where we would have more direct control over them. But as I said, his priorities shifted after he retrieved the domain from Cornelius. He's been accelerating the means to which to end the Godfall and return to the heavens. I have a concern that he has come up with a means to enact that choice without consent. And I think he fears your involvement more than he's willing to say. For that plan has been accelerated ever since you retrieved the spear we now know is called Mortal Reminder.
So he's trying to take out the demon hosts without us getting in the way, because then he can go fiddle with everybody's memory and keep the Silver Order at his beck and call.
More or less, yes.
Really don't like that.
Making sure I was following all that.
God, what a piece of shit.
What was
It is
what?
my assumption that if he has the means to rewrite memory, it would be possible for him to force everybody to believe that they all took the oath and collectively defeated the demon host. Or at least the incursion without it.
Can the time domain do that? Can it do all this stuff for him?
Not the time domain, but whatever means he used to erase Argith from history. Why he has changed his plan after acquiring the time domain, I can't say for certain. Perhaps it's a shift in the balance of power. Something that tipped the scales in his favor enough where he feels confident that he can enact his plan without more direct force before return to the heavens, where he would face opposition from those that align with me. But should he end the Godfall early, he would be the first one to ascend to the heavens and have access to his domain before any of us were able to return. That could pose difficulties, especially if he still holds a grudge against those that opposed his plan. As much as I wish to believe that is not the case of the man I've known for such a long time.
Well, it's starting to become clear that there might be facets to him that you haven't really known before.
He was willing to murk you in the
Unfortunately.
first place, so
Yes. Luckily, he seems to hold at least some semblance of our former agreements. For the time being, I am safe, but kept in a position where I can no longer assist directly. Even if I were to oppose his desire to ascend, he could disconnect me from my domain. Me opposing him would simply be an inconvenience that he could deal with immediately. As such, I intend to try to use this form to get back in contact with Xyces, though he tends to be neutral in these affairs given the potential impact it has to the agreement. He may be persuaded to oppose a change in plans, at least long enough that it would delay, Ethos, enough for you to investigate what the Jester was able to uncover. I was unable to get the full extent of the details from him, but if Ethos was that concerned with hiding that key and is as afraid of that spear as he appears to be, I imagine they hold some semblance, some knowledge of what he is planning or what we could do to stop him.
Given that Xerxes very much wants to know who fucked with his tapestry,
Ah,
I
yes.
think that I think he'd be a bit invested in some of that.
Right.
Indeed.
You said you're gonna try and visit Xyces?
Yes,
Can you let
even
him
in
know
his
that?
form. Sorry,
You,
continue.
oh, sorry. Um, can you let him know that we would like to have a word with him?
I will see if I can arrange an agreement based on the fragment that was in Reese. I understand that you have some sort of deal with him. Would you like me to pass along any updates that might make him more amicable?
We may have a piece of his tapestry.
I see. If that is the case, he will be very interested in seeing that. I'll see if he can't send a messenger to retrieve you.
Perfect.
That would be good, yeah. This I don't know if we can. I don't know if Ethos wasn't that afraid of those books and whatever is super hidden in them. I don't know. There seems to be some odd. There's a lot of connections back and forth that I don't get, but let's say somebody went to a lot of trouble to hide a lot of things, and there's not too many people with that sort of power. So I know where my gold went.
Indeed, I wasn't aware of either the library or the spear, so he has gone through great lengths to hide whatever lies within either of them.
So, from what you've told us, Ethos' endgame is to defeat the demon host, convince all of humanity had a hand in it, therefore reinforcing the willful keeping of the Silver Order. As
Correct.
is that all he's planning to do?
That is all I was able to gather. As far as I am aware, he sees the Silver Order as the best means for the mortal realm to protect itself, but I have concerns that if he is going to go to that length, that there might be some other exploits that
Uh,
he installed within your bodies that I am unaware of.
really don't like that, but he is making himself to be quite the despot.
Indeed, unfortunately. How much have you all been able to gather about the Silver Order in my absence?
About them specifically.
Correct. About the effects that that blessing bestows upon those who receive it.
Did we have a couple of popsicles we were having Nara look into?
Uh, I remember that. Sorry. Keyrol had a couple of them that he had on ice. I'm not sure if Nara had the time to look into them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember us doing any real much digging other than some of the like eyewitness kind of accounts of like from the Ember Mains or with like from Londrake and I think maybe a little bit from the gnome area.
Mhm. To keep things as simple as I can, think of the Silver Order as champions or clerics of the gods. They offer themselves to one of the deities, most often Ethos or one of his followers, and in return they are granted a connection to one of their domains, in the same way that we would grant magic to one of our priests. But we built your new bodies much stronger than the ones we did in the past after all the lessons we have learned. They're able to survive and contain much more divine energy than the initial incarnations of the mortal races. In essence, the Silver Order Knights are stacked with various divine blessings to increase their physical stamina and strength, as well as endurance and potential for healing. And those aligned to specific gods are often granted various other boons in alignment with their domains, as you've probably seen by now.
Right. That that all tracks, and considering most of them pledged themselves to ethos, well, kind of speaks for itself, considering how they garb themselves.
I want to say some of the ones in Embermain might have been pledged to the one who stole Reindrick.
Yes, those that are pledged to the god of the forge have access to more powerful and advanced weaponry. I've only seen a handful of them through the eyes of the jester, but it is within belief that they are pledged to the one that often goes by the quartermaster. There are additional effects besides those that are physical. Are any of you familiar with the trauma that soldiers and others who face traumatic events often suffer long term?
Laugh a little bit.
Mika would nod.
Given that most of those that accept the Silver Order blessing are they come from more humble backgrounds. It isn't necessarily that they have the mindset or disposition to become adventurers like yourselves. They tend to be more susceptible to trauma and mental anguish at the sights that they've seen. In order to shield them from that, the blessing was built in a way that it could mute certain emotions while under the effect of it. Well, you would recognize the events. The brain wouldn't properly process certain things like fear or terror or anguish. When the blessing fades, one might still feel sadness or a desire to mourn those that they lost, but to a lessened extent, one that might allow them to recover given proper time to grieve rather than haunt them for the rest of their days. It was built as a method to shield the minds of those who accepted the blessing so that they might rebuild their lives at the end of it rather than be haunted by the choice that was forced upon them. But
Right.
given what we know now, that Ethos has found a way to prolong the blessing indefinitely, I have concerns that he might use that effect to temper certain emotions that he finds undesirable for what he believes is for the good of mortals.
I think he already did that He's already been doing that some. The
What an asshole.
the halfling, the war hero that was his spy.
Yes.
I can't.
Gemina took.
Yes, Gemina. He was able to get basically had more power over her because of what she had seen in war, I believe. So it was
Uh,
easier to turn her, I think.
I based on what you were told by the agents there, it was likely that she was captured at some point. She was either captured or rescued by the Silver Order after fighting wiped out most of the squad she was working with and convinced through one means or another to sign up.
Oh, okay. Okay. Misremembered that. I think.
Has Ethos in any way looked toward the other planes and thought he would really like to have what they have?
The bird just kind of cocks its head a little bit. Myself, Ethos, and Xyces already have the same level of control over those planes that we have on the mortal plane.
I see.
They are simply reflections of this one. Or in the sense of the elemental planes and the elemental chaos building blocks from which the world that you know was built.
Once we deal with this demon host, I imagine there's other horrors of the abyss that could rise up, but having such a contingency on hand, it's a little overkill, isn't it?
This is not the first time we've had to descend for a crisis that nearly wiped out the mortal realms.
If
And
I'm to
every
understand,
time we have to descend, it seems that the problems get worse and worse.
well,
Unfortunately, it seems he took that as invitation to make fail-safes so that we didn't lose you all next time,
I
as
see.
unsavory as the method is. If you recall, Reeves, based on what you were told about the book, there were roughly
Like
there were at
3,
least 3 confirmed godfalls prior to this one.
yeah. Reeves wants to say, with all due respect, I think some of those were self-inflicted, but he's gonna hold that back.
Look, she's
Moss
trying her
wouldn't.
best, man.
And I got a question for you.
Proceed.
Do you remember Einar?
She just kind of tilts her head a bit.
Okay, good to know his mind wipe bullshit works on you too. Good.
I try not to pry, but I did overhear his name mentioned in passing when you were talking recently. But
Brother of
before that,
Rouse.
Wielder of the
Rouse had
spear.
no other siblings to my knowledge.
Oh, he did. He did. Yeah.
Brother of
Also,
Rouse.
sons of Sigbjorn.
And that was confirmed by one of the books you found in that library.
Mhm.
It was.
You see her pause for a moment, and you see the bird's eyes go wide for a second. That only raises concern. It
Has
is exceedingly important that he not be allowed to ascend before we get to the bottom of this. I
do
don't know
you
how this information was hidden from me, but the less power Ethos has at his disposal, the more we can limit his ability to enact something like this again, assuming he was involved, as I think he is.
another question? Probably with the same answer. Do you know who the god of lost knowledge is?
I do not know who held that domain, nor am I aware of anybody that ever did.
Oh, that tracks, I guess.
Yeah, about what I expected.
Didn't we
Did you
draw?
run into somebody claiming to be that?
He's kind of an asshole, but he gave us information at multiple points.
He could have been a little more forthcoming, but wasn't too bad.
For every sin you defeat, I shall answer one question.
Like I said, he could have been a little more forthright.
The dick.
Haven't we described him or actually drew him at one point to try and see if anybody recognized him? I seem to remember that, but I'm not sure if I made it up or not.
I don't think we've ever did that with Brianna because we started hunting the sins after Varu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this fragment of Brianna is the first one you've come in contact with that recognizes you. So this one is post Varu memories.
Mm-hmm.
It's very likely that, or at least very possible, that they are using a disguise to hide their intentions if they are not known to me. But to be safe, could you describe them?
Are we able to hold their image in our heads? This one?
You guys are, yes.
Okay. Tomas, you have a way with words, and you seem to
Digging
remember
through,
him very vividly.
digging through my
About yay
notes.
high. Hair's this color that Sam doesn't remember. Smarmy bitch ass look on his face.
I put his token down.
Okay, hold on. Let me go.
Yeah, long dark hair. I kind of remember that part.
Yeah, yeah. Human ears, not elf at least. Um, has kind of this air about him where he thinks he knows everything, probably because he does know like a fuck ton, but like he doesn't have to act like it, you know?
The salt.
Don't mind Tomasi's being really dramatic.
Charles said I could shoot him.
Charles.
I just need this to be very
He's
well known.
he's part of COS.
I see. Yes, unfortunately, the description doesn't ring a bell.
I wish I could. Wish you could just like minor illusion, like just make a little. No magic.
Technically, I think Reese can just imagine him in his head, and Brianna might be able to see. Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Reese will do that.
Yep.
I think Tomas painted a picture with his words.
That's gonna.
Mhm.
That
It,
works.
it was a very good word picture.
It was.
The bird closes its eyes for a second as you imagine that. No, as I thought, I don't recognize them. They're not in any of the. They're not any of the previous holders that I'm aware of, either those that ascended or those that died during the War of the Heavens. And I don't forget a face.
You always seem to know where we were. Every time a sin showed up, or he'd be right there after we took it out. So.
Perhaps his actual domain is not lost knowledge. He might just know a lot.
What are the chances Ethos fucked with Isis' weave?
That's kind of what I've been thinking this whole time, because there's not a lot of people who could pull down a red sun to do some shenanigans, but can't prove it. I bet those books got something.
A red sun.
You don't remember that?
I am very aware of the Red Sun. I am curious how you know about it. That was far before the mortal plane.
Oh, I
It's in our
saw it.
memories.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, our previous selves, the ones before we got reset.
Oh, character, what?
Red Sun.
You all saw a red sun on the final day that before you died.
Okay.
And
Like
that
the day your characters died in the past.
Mhm.
That's you all saw a red sun that day.
Oh.
and there was something I want to say the tapestry that was about the same time frame as when the tapestry of Xyces was got fucked with.
It ended right. The tapestry ended like right after all you died.
So yeah, there was like in that time frame I think was our suspicion that the Red Sun like coincided with whatever made the tapestry fold and go berserk.
You shouldn't have ever seen that.
Can we ask what it is?
It's what the sun of this solar system truly looked like before Ethos hit its appearance.
So, say that Ethos is expending a large amount of his power at once. Would it be possible, maybe, that the sun would become visible in its original state?
It is
Oh.
possible, but hard to say for certain. I don't know how much energy he expended to keep it in its current state.
Would say throwing down enough energy to mess with the world so Xyces can't see what's going on.
It's possible. If he's been able to hide this much from me, it's possible that he was hiding other abilities that I was unaware of that could influence things on such a scale, to influence both myself and Xyces. To think that I wouldn't remember the sun's recent appearance either.
Would he have been able to use that sort of opportunity to sneak in some of his own sort of changes to how mortals were formed?
It's possible if there were no objections. He would have a majority, and the fact that he would be the only one voting.
And I imagine that that self vote would have been otherwise recorded.
Yes, if we were aware of the vote, Xyces, rather, if we were in a state to make a vote, Xyces and myself would have been made aware of it, either to approve, abstain, or reject it, as with all the changes that we make.
I mean, for the purposes of weaving it into the tapestry. I don't know if your sort of stuff that you do is woven into it.
Under normal circumstances, Ethos and I should only be making, and she gestures to you all with the wings, mortals that can influence the tapestry themselves. The gods themselves aren't recorded on it.
Mm.
Quick OOC aside.
Mhm.
I have an itching memory of something about Argith and Ethos, and him like either not remembering Argith or something weird.
Wasn't he the one
Ethos
who
is
got
That was Ever.
specifically the only person that remembers them other
Y-
than Lana, because he was, I think Lana asked him about it, and he's like, oh yeah, I did that. She fucking knows what she did.
I,
That sounds familiar, yeah.
You're
But
you're thinking of Ever. You're thinking of Ever because that was the thing that she used to
no,
her
because I
advantage in
thought
the.
I thought there was something weird with Argith and Ethos that made us think it wasn't Ethos that did it.
Um, I
What
could have
was
sworn
it?
it was Ethos that said, "Oh yes, I know she is removed from history."
I recall him saying that.
Yeah.
It was after the that big battle.
He did not seem. If you asked him about the lost god of knowledge,
Ah,
he
that
would
might have been
not
where I got
know.
confused. Sorry, I wanted to clarify that real quick.
Yep.
It's been a long campaign.
Yeah, it's been like a year and a half since that.
Out of curiosity, what does the sun look like to us?
Sun looks like our sun.
Okay.
So the red, it being red, is very out of character.
Out of curiosity, in character, why would he make the sun? Why would you bother to hide what the sun looks like?
Because the world on which you live now is perfect in all things except that. And after a great many millennia, starting things over and over and over and over again, we thought it better to make a small tweak ourselves rather than starting again from scratch. A little white lie to make sure that you could live safely and peacefully.
There's something dangerous about the red sun?
It is a bit more hazardous for
Why?
people. Matt having to look up astrology.
What does Reeves need to roll to know about the life cycle of stars?
Do you have lore astronomy?
No.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
A red sun is closer to the end of its life cycle, and in this case, substantially larger in size than the younger state that we are currently forcing it into, or rather, that Ethos is forcing it into. It is difficult to properly explain, but it can cause various sicknesses and injuries that would cause being outside for extended periods of time much more fatal for the people of this planet.
So he's not just hiding what it looks like, he's actually changing it?
He's forcing it back into a previous state.
Well, that line. Hey, maybe that's why I wanted your time domain so much.
Potentially. I thought he already had it under control, but I've made a great many assumptions on him in the past that have recently proven to be false. It's possible his ability to hold it back were limited without that.
Which makes it even a bigger deal that if time domain lets him, makes it easier for him to keep that thing in check, then he has more freedom to do other shenanigans. Which,
Wait,
yes, Reeves, I don't like that either.
wait. Go back. You said the sun is at the end of its life cycle?
In the sense that it would end in a few million years rather than
Oh,
a few 100 million.
well, that's fine.
Towards the end of its life cycle on a much larger scale than anything that you would need to be concerned with.
Terrific.
Alright, that aside. Okay, so get there first.
Indeed.
Don't let him don't don't let him do whatever he needs to do with the demon hosts. We get there first, we do what we've done with all the other sins, and Etho still has all that power to play with, though.
Yes, which is why we need to prevent him from ascending and getting full access to his domain again. He is concerned about your ability to act after you have acquired the spear and access to that library. Even if
So-
it is a long shot, he's concerned that you might have some means to stop him.
So once the demon host goes away, he will ascend either way.
Eventually. That is the agreed upon state. He is currently trying to force the ascension to occur after the demon host within a matter of days rather than the matter of months we previously agreed to for cleaning up the stragglers that would inevitably be left behind.
Mm.
If he takes a vote and I am unable to deny him, and Xyces abstains as he often does, it would be without opposition.
To go back after the demon host in days rather than months.
Correct. To be exact, once the demon host dies, we have exactly 1 month.
That's not a lot of time.
No, it is not.
Point of order though. How many souls are in that big body of his?
The demon host?
Right, because after we dealt with our various sins, let's just say some of us have heavier loads than others.
That I am unfortunately uncertain of. It's quite possible the strain will be more than any one of you could hold within you. If possible, I would ask that you each gather what you can to safely escort back.
Anyone got
And
a
the
bucket?
rest. What was that?
I said, anyone got a bucket? Maybe a really big bucket.
What's the snorts?
What's the bulk on a singular soul, and how many can I fit in my bag of holding?
Exactly.
Depends on the strength of the soul.
Add them to my quiver with the rest of my stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Are you
Jokes
all
aside.
doing all right?
No.
No.
Nope. It was, and
My
now we're not.
apologies.
Look, Mom. We fit in our japes where we can. Okay, it's kind of rough out there.
I'm coping.
I see.
I'm apparently magically constipated.
Yes.
There's that.
And emotionally.
Yeah,
Brianna
no,
opens
that
her
one I
beak
knew.
for a second before closing it. But yes. Rescue what you can safely carry, but do not overexert yourselves in doing so. Things will be difficult no matter what decision we come to with Xyces.
Speaking of the ferrying process, if we take on any more, I have concerns that we might not be able to deploy for very long at all in the future.
I don't know. I'm good. I only have 2. 3.
Sorry.
I have like 8 more.
I don't think Mika can take any more.
Mika's like trying to shrink into the background. It's like, dude.
You see Brianna look over towards you, Mika. I would recommend that you abstain from the process.
Well,
Shino too.
yeah, yeah, Shino helped.
Wait, Shino's carrying some of your souls for you? There's
No,
that many?
Mm, mm.
They're not
Mika,
silver
how-
hands, but
Mika, how many?
Mm,
Mika, that's a lot.
it's,
I don't
I
know
don't
how.
know. I think
been-
Shino's
how-
doing fine.
it's been a bit crowded in here.
Yeah. How many vats were in were in that vault we uncovered?
They're remodeling, okay?
Only handle 3 and they're driving me up a wall.
I'm
They're
great.
minor remodeling.
you see Brianna look towards you, Tomas.
Wait, yeah.
Oh, and you appear like you should be able to fit quite a few more.
Are any of them like me? Because others, if they are, then no. I can only handle one other me and not well.
I don't know, Tomas. I think you're pretty spacious.
I assure you there were
Lewd.
only one other. I assure you there was only one reset. There is not a third Tomas.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I'm good.
But yes, I will trust you to all determine what is within your capabilities, and I ask you not overexert yourself. This is the safest way to get them, but once we ascend back to the heavens, there are ways for my angels to retrieve those that are lost. They will just take a bit more time to recover.
Until that happens, though, would we expect an uptick in Revenant?
It is an unfortunate possibility.
Well, uh, make room, Tomas.
I'm good. Though Eodras might get cranky.
Everyone would like the company.
I'm certain I can come to an agreement with the address.
Oh, same. He's a big softy deep down. I can see it.
You feel the hair on the back of your neck stand up as like a charge of static electricity runs through your body.
Oh. Mm. Rich just does that thing, you know, when you spontaneously get like a shiver and your neck scrunches down into your shoulders and you're like, He does that.
Yep. It is unfortunate that we've had to involve you to this extent, but I am truly proud of how far each of you has come. And hopefully, this will all be over, and you can get proper rest soon enough.
Well, I mean, we were built for it, literally in this case. But
I'm glad somebody has faith in us.
I've got a lot of ideas for the post Demon Host, but right now, maybe we need to talk about actual how the hell we're gonna get there and do
Yes.
what we gotta do because we've got Ebor between and others between us and it.
I've
And
got it. I've got it. I've got a great plan.
him.
Arrive, succeed, reward.
Kill him. We'll kill him.
I mean,
I would.
Those are bullet points, not a plan.
I know.
I would recommend avoiding antagonizing Eber for as long as you can.
Why? I mean, I know why, but God.
I desperately want that man dead.
I also
As
would like him dead, along with Valor, but
I'm pretty
I
sure all of us have grievances against Eber, guys. Please, can we just move on and learn more?
I'm just not sure we're gonna be able to avoid him.
yeah, that.
it is likely he will be there, but as of the last update I was able to receive on events, those that are currently deployed in the field are under rather strict orders not to engage with you if it would threaten the success of the Demon Host mission.
He's ignored orders before. Quite a
It
bit, actually.
is a dangerous situation to put yourself into, but there is a stalemate ongoing that you may be able to take advantage of.
Is there still?
At least for the time being, yes, but I would be extraordinarily cautious to make sure you have means to escape. Once the demon host is defeated, I cannot imagine them letting you walk away once that threat is dealt with. And that's what we've been preparing for. And you see Amove and Cornelius returning from the workshop with Cornelius and Molt carrying armfuls of supplies in their hands to work on what you realize is something large and covered in a curtain over here. Looking closer, you realize it's not the observatory telescope.
I know what that is.
I think
The
I do
fucking
too.
cannon, baby.
Yeah, it is. Yes, that's actually where we come in. So, Nara mentioned last time we spoke on this that we have means to jump the observatory around rather quickly, locally at least.
Air quotes.
A couple seconds between each jump. It might seem like a long time in the middle of a fight, but it's better than the half an hour it usually takes.
Oh, a couple seconds. I was quoted at least a couple minutes last time.
Depends on the size of the jump. Yes, from where we're gonna probably drop you off, it'll take a few minutes to get ready to jump within the fortifications, but once we're inside, as long as we're not going too far outside of it, it'll only take a couple seconds to make a jump of a couple hundred feet.
Well, that's good to hear.
We'll want to minimize it to make sure Valore isn't able to figure it out too much, but we have a little bit of wiggle room.
So, wait, what is this thing?
Don't you recognize
Is
me,
Mika
Mika?
just gesturing to the covered up object?
Don't you recognize it?
Oh yes, we've been working with the friend that was so kind to come with us. As he pulls off part of the curtain, and you realize that it is the Roar of the Mountain, that giant ass alchemical shotgun cannon.
Ah, covered up? No, she probably wouldn't have recognized it. It's been a few days.
Mm-hmm. Yes, considering that we'll likely have to jump into the fray at some point or another, we figured we might as well get in a shot or two while we can. And our good friend was very eager to see his work put to use.
Well, maybe that'll keep Eber and the others from noticing we're sneaking in to punch their target.
I highly doubt there will be any means to sneak in, given that Valore is at the location, unfortunately.
Which one's he again?
Who's this Valori person?
Uh,
Uh,
I don't like him.
we had a run in with him. He's kind of he's a personality, all right.
Grandmaster of Conjuration.
Yes, one of the other heads of Hearthwaite when from before everything fell apart. He is
Oh,
one of the originals.
Like a corpse sucker.
Likes to warp around a lot and make obnoxious verbal commentary about the things that he's seeing. Expect him to do that a lot, by the way.
Yes, he's very involved in his research. But he
oh.
is extraordinarily observant, especially when it comes to teleportation and other long distance movement based magics. There won't be any way to drop you off safely within the fortifications. And it's likely that they'll suspect we are coming, given the recent falling out with the Jester, who has probably since been identified as working with us. It's very likely that is the case, yes. It is possible they might allow you to walk in there, but I imagine they won't allow you to walk out, is the problem. And that's why we'll just have to force their hand on the leaving part once we're done. Though, if all goes to plan, they won't exactly be around to stop us when we're done.
I like that plan.
Yes. And Amove claps her hands and points towards both of you. So, remember that trip to the vault that you were all so kind to escort me to?
Yep.
Yes.
What?
So, I was able to use Selwes's inheritance to set up my domain on the observatory. So know how I'm able to
Nice.
know how I'm able to use alchemy on the air, convert it into alchemist fire and the like.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well, let's just say I can do that on a much larger scale when I'm actually connected to my domain.
Oh,
It'll be a bit of an indiscriminate attack, which is why I had to spend so long warding the observatory. And she reaches down and pulls 6 little necklaces that she has been dangling around her neck. And I've had to prepare these. Oh, and she pulls off a 7th one. Do you plan on taking Maya with you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And she takes those and tosses them over in your direction. It is of utmost importance that you keep those on your bodies and wear them, Tomas.
Oh,
yeah. Don't just put it in your quiver.
As long
listen.
as you have those on, I'll be able to tell where you are, at least as long as you're close enough to my domain. And make sure that once everything starts going down, I can protect you.
I like being protected.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
With any luck, the plan is to keep things vague.
Can you channel through these?
I cannot channel through them directly, but you've done a bit of research, is my understanding, into the arcane magics, Reeves.
Yes.
Also,
Have you
yes.
ever heard of wizards capable of shaping their spells to avoid hurting their compatriots?
Yeah, that was in one of the that was in like Evocation Volume 2.
Yes, well, the same principle applies to my domain.
Oh, I
I
see.
can shape the radius of the alchemical effect that I'm going to create to avoid causing you any direct injury.
I gotcha.
It's just
I
very important you keep those on so I know where to shape it around.
I gotcha. I was only asking because it'd be very hilarious to just have a gout of flame come out of these to burn someone.
As amusing as it is, I have something a bit more all encompassing planned. But
I'm going to be interested to see this.
given the preparations that the Silver Order has gone through, I imagine between them and you, you'll be able to put the demon host into a weakened state. Enough that between the firepower we have prepared in the observatory and my preparations, we should be able to deal a finishing blow to more or less eradicate the physical form of the demon host. And based on what Brianna has said, we'll just be counting on you to clean up the part that we can't really kill with fire, so to speak.
Well, in the meantime, Ethos is trying to do whatever he does
Well,
specifically, I guess. I don't know what he can do or where he can take it, but
well, given well, what if we don't give him a means to get in contact with the demon host before he has any chance? Well, before you have any chance to deal with it yourselves.
I like the sound of that.
that'd probably be good.
Sounds like a good plan.
We plan on stepping in before you guys deal the finishing blow, so apologies for taking the glory from that part, but we can trust that you'll clean it up good and proper for us while we make sure that Nothing can survive within a square mile of it besides us.
Sounds good to me. Not a big glory person.
Yep, torch away.
Alright. It's probably not going to be pleasant having to trust them not to stab you walking in through the front door, but if we arrive early, we give Valore and his minions the chance to try and figure us out, and the last thing we need to do is walk away from this alive, only for him to teleport Eber and every other god under Ethos's command directly into the tower.
That'd be bad.
Yes. As much as I'd like to offer you assistance the entire time, we have to think of the future as well, unfortunately. I hope you understand.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
We'll figure it out.
All right. As for the demon host himself, we have a little bit of information from the previous war. It is on a much larger scale than anything you've dealt with, but the demon host is still a demon. Still weak to the same types of usual effects that you would see fighting one of the smaller variety. Where was it? In so much as I would prepare for cold iron or anything that can deal good aligned divine damage. Other than that, it is of exceptionally large size, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about it dodging your strikes, but well, let's just say it takes quite a bit to get through the flesh of the creature. There's a reason we had to send Rouse after it last time.
Well, we've got the, was it mortal reminder here?
Yes, that'll certainly be. God, my brain. That'll certainly be helpful in dealing with it. Any other large firepower you can bring to bear would certainly be good time to prepare for that as well. Other than that, just try your best. It's a bit beyond anything that I can properly prepare you for with words. With a single sweep of its arm, or kick of its legs, or single blast of its breath, it was capable of wiping out dozens of men. You're much stronger than the soldiers that were available to us back then, in a general sense, but I would avoid trying to get too reckless. Try not to cluster too close to too many of your allies, as temporary or permanent as they may be, and be on the lookout for any openings to strike at a vulnerability it poses, or find an opportunity to prepare or heal yourselves when you get the chance. But I trust you figured out the gist of it by now.
Reiner's still in there, isn't he? Or somebody, I remember somebody talked to him, but I can't remember though.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Well, maybe hopefully he can be of some help when we get in there.
One would certainly hope so. Yeah, if he's still kicking, I imagine he'll give you everything he's got.
Okay. So go for the big toe. Got it.
Indeed. I imagine Valore will have something in place to restrain it, at least to an extent, but I wouldn't count on it being completely helpless. Simply do the best you can, given the situation. I wish I could give you more, but if you had any specific questions in mind before you retire for the evening, feel free to ask them now.
I have a repair question for you, Cornelius, but we'll handle that later.
Of course. If you need
Uh,
anything looked at before we head out, just let me know.
yeah, I can't get the limiter on the fuel gauge for this thing I'm working on to behave correctly, so
I'll see if I can't figure something out.
awesome.
All right. Any final questions from the party? Do note that once this meeting is adjourned, Brianna is going to head off to try to track down Zycy, so she will not be available until she returns.
Mhm.
All right.
I feel like there was something, but I can't remember.
Going once. Going twice. Okay. So, I have a question for you all. So, we have two options.
Mhm.
We can either put a tab in here and go through the entire mission next week, or
I
we
have
can
four.
go in and handle the initial deployment tonight, up to getting into the fort, and then start the fight next week.
I think I'd rather just start
I have work
clean
at 8
next
a.m.
week.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think this is a good stopping point then.
Yeah, this feels like a good stopping point.
Yeah, I think I'm too wet
Yeah,
to continue on.
that is fair. You guys did pick up a lot of information.
And I took up a lot of time.
No, it was good though. I think
It was a
that
good
was
time.
very healthy for the party.
And we're playing. Well, next week is also is the plan, correct? Yes.
Correct. Next week is planned for the deployment and the demon host fight, and we will see if we can get through all of it. Otherwise, we will have that fight over 2 sessions, and then after that, we go back to split missions. And from what
Easy
Brianna
fight.
said, there is 1 month left after that deployment.
Sounds like it might be a pretty hectic month.
It'll be something.
Will be something.
All right. So, does anybody have any questions for me?
None that I can think of. I'll
Yeah.
probably message you if I need any clarifying questions about things.
Yep, if anybody has clarifying questions about any of the dumb bullshit I rambled on about for 3 hours tonight, or any preparation for next week, just let me know and I'll be happy to shoot you a message. Otherwise, for now, relax your brains and ready yourself for tomorrow. We solve the problems of the world. Oh, wait, no, there's shit after it now. Damn it, I can't get away with that anymore.
Shit.
All right.
Shit.
Yeah.
Also, I'm fucking stupid. I
Oh,
miscounted. 2 months.
2
2 months.
months.
2
Oh, okay.
months. That's
I was like, 1 month sounds really short for the stuff I had planned.
Just say,
that's
Oh, no,
4 missions.
say 1 month straight, maybe, which we never do.
No, because you always have break weeks. So,
4 missions.
yeah.
Well, four split missions, but
4 deployments.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that, depending on the number of split missions, is anywhere from 4 to 8.
scream.
We're getting close, folks.
To this our wiggle wiggle.
Alright, but thank you all for putting up with my stupid bullshit. And now, hopefully, you have some idea why Ethos is a fuckboy, and maybe we'll deal with that.
Maybe.
Alright, new
Adam.
It's always fun dealing with your stupid bullshit, Matt. Not
I love
stupid.
your I love your bullshit.
If your stupid bullshit is stupid and bullshit, I don't want to be smart.
It's okay. Don't worry. I'm getting revenge on Matt.
She fucking is. She's a
Yeah,
bully.
fuck you, man.
Does the butter churn? Causing chaos.
Oh.
Don't bully. All
A
right.
bully.